Right, it's definitely that time of year where things are starting to fade out quite rapidly now. Even though we've had no frosts and no really cold nights, to be fair. That's sort of averaging about 8 or 9 degrees at night and still double figures during the day. But we've had a lot of wind and rain, and things are just, with the ever decreasing light levels, things are just starting to look a bit worse for wear, a bit bad. But sort of in conclusion to some of the winter protection videos I've done, and I don't do them every year, but every couple of years I just sort of update the ways that, I tend to overwinter various plants. So we've gone through little bananas and your really tender plants and things like your palms with a little shelter, stuff like that. But just in conclusion, and I do grow a lot of colocasia. So this is wind battered and bruised, but got really all over the garden. We've got these escalenta, which I always bang on about, tend to be pretty hardy for me where I am. I am on sort of pretty good drain and sandy soil, but this would go for anyone. If you sort of, even pink china, if you're more up north and you're still concerned about pink china, which in general is hardy, but it depends how extreme your winters are. So anything that really, any small plant or anything that sort of dies down and you're still a bit concerned about sort of rotting off, or just roots or rhizomes tending to, you could say with cannas, dahlias, like I say, colocasia, anything that's sort of going to die back and you want to just give it that extra bit of protection. There are ways to do it, and what I tend to do, and to be fair, even last year with the -6/7 we had here, a lot of these colocasia still came back with absolutely no protection whatsoever. But the bigger ones, and I've got some bigger clumps, and I do tend to give them a bit of protection, not just really protect from winter, but to get them going a bit quicker in the spring as well. So what I will do is I don't cut the leaves off. I'll let them really sort of yellow out and die back naturally to give a bit of, that energy to grow that leaf. If you just cut that off, that's lost, that's wasted energy. Yeah, you can compost it, but for the plant itself, it's far better to let the leaf die back naturally, whether it be way of frost, and the plant will draw few nutrients back into the bulb from that, or slowly, in this case where it's just slowly starting to yellow out and sort of give up due to the less than ideal growing conditions. So yeah, let that energy get back into the plant, and this will be the same with like I say, dahlias, cannas. Don't be too quick to cut the foliage off, let it absorb some back into the rhizome, the roots, and yeah, when it's sort of really sort of shriveled up and looking nasty, then yeah, remove it if you wish. And at that point, I'm going to use a cloche. So we've got a couple of different sizes here, depending if you've got I'd say if I've got a clump of cannas and there's a couple of new little shoots, I'd probably use a bigger cloche. But in the case of a colocasia like this, basically it's going to die pretty much back down to the ground. You might have a little bit of the main growing stems sort of above ground, as it were, so we could go with a smaller one for that. So these are real cheap little plastic cloches, which you can just, obviously you want some pegs or little metal stakes just to put them in the ground so they don't blow away. But what I tend to do is, like I say, let the naturally die back the foliage, clean it up if need be, put a cloche over it, and then the choice there's various choices what you can do. Obviously the cloche is going to keep it a little bit dry around that area. Obviously when it rains the moisture is going to soak in everywhere, but it's not getting overhead rain, so it does keep it a little bit drier, so that's already increasing the chances of it surviving. Again, like a mini greenhouse or even on a sunny day, that will keep the temperature up, so it'll just warm the soil up a little bit more, so less chance of the root or rhizome rotting out. And also what you can do is stuff it with leaves, so to insulate the top part of the soil. So I quite often do that. Leaves are a good one. If you get some dry leaves and stuff it full of them, and that'll just give that a good insulation around the top area of the plant. And if not, obviously you can use fleece or whatever, straw, just something there just to, you know, the plastic itself is not going to be a barrier from extreme colds, so yeah, a little bit of sort of natural insulation in there will definitely help. And then, like I say, the beauty of that is you can leave that on all winter, you ain't got to worry about it. You know, you give your plant the best chance of surviving. And come sort of March time, when it, yeah, you still get frosts, but the, you know, light levels start increasing, and you know, good chance of things starting to warm up around that time. Like I say, you've got a mini greenhouse over your plants, so it's going to get that growing that little bit quicker, and especially with colocasias and certain bananas, maybe if you've got a smaller banana stump, or the golden lotus banana is a good one, because they do need a bit of heat to get them going, same as the colocasias do, so that really does give you a head start rather than lifting potting up wine if it's going to rot off, and then, you know, slowly introducing the water, and then you've got that danger of rotting off at that point as well. You can just literally get your leaves or fleece, whatever, stuff it in your cloche, put your cloche over, peg it down, and forget about it. If you've got a cloche with the dial on the top, I do tend to have that open, just to, you know, let a bit of airflow, air escape as it were, moisture, and also I don't know, I mean, it's a good thing to, if you've got a really sort of heavy downpour or particularly wet, then obviously you can just close it, but in general I'd have them open. So yeah, that tend to be the scenario I use to, just to, like I say, edge your bets, really give yourself a better chance of stuff surviving. And I'm going to be trying it with a few different species this year. I've actually done this with alocasia in the past. I've had an alocasia macrorrhiza, which are not cold tolerant at all, but this, you know, it did survive the winter under a cloche, and it obviously got it growing a bit quicker in the spring. So yeah, you'd be surprised, just that little bit of real quick easy protection can make a heck of a difference. And if you've got I'm going to be trying it this year with I'm going to leave some white lava in the ground, colocasia, which I wouldn't have said we've been anywhere near sort of cold hardy, but we'll see if this little bit of protection will get it through the winter. So yeah, I've done it for a few years now, and as always, I don't think I've ever lost a plant doing it. So I mean, just so 3 main benefits: you're keeping the plant dry, you're keeping it a little bit warmer, insulating it, and you're getting it a head start in spring because you've got a mini greenhouse over the top. Simple as that. Right, let's leave it there. Thanks for watching.